It's all good. Don't worry about it. Kevin, Betty, how are you guys?
I don't know why I took my
There, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. My Bluetooth on my truck was still on. Have I showed you? Did I send you the video of my boat?
I was watching some of it today. If you
Check
want
this
to go
out.
ahead. Oh, sweet.
I done complete camo job of it.
You airbrush?
No. Rattle cans and stencils.
Sweet.
It actually looks really good. I'll send you the actual video of my walk around of the camo job in Messenger after we're done. Here's
All
Peel
right.
and Drag's new boat I went and picked up for him.
I need to get my four-wheel drive fixed on my Suburban. I've been hauling some boats for Savannah Marine here up in Savannah, Missouri, and they got some really sweet boats. They work with Excel.
Hey, Gabby, come get all these newspapers off the boat and the tape off the boat, throw it in the trash place. See, I've got a 18.5-foot Ranger I usually fish out of, and I got this little boat give to me because the only lake around me that has blues in it has a 10-horse limit, and I've got a 130-horse Johnson on my Ranger.
That's
So
when that's when you put a lawnmower motor on the back of it, and then have an actual jet john sitting inside, or a jet motor sitting inside it.
That would be pretty cool.
I'm telling you, those jet john boats are sweet. I want to get one.
Get all this. Will I be able to see chat?
You should be able to. I know, like, if you pull up on either I think you can see it if you pull up on your feed on YouTube.
Yeah, so I got another phone. I'm gonna pull YouTube.
Just make sure you keep the volume down on one because you'll get feedback.
Oh yeah. Oh, the lady just had to have. Where the hell's my glasses? I do not know. They're in my pocket. I'm ready to go whenever you are.
I'm ready to roll whenever you're ready to roll. It's all good. Kevin with K&B said he hopped out real fast. He's going to go get some others to hop in. And I know here within the next 10 to 15 minutes, we're going to have at least a pretty decent crowd.
Oh, when Avid gets done.
Yeah. Him and Elston were still sitting there talking, and they were doing a giveaway prize.
James.
There's Scotty Hill.
Go with me, please.
Scotty Hill, what's happening?
You can help me.
I want to try eventually before summer's out, before I got to go back to work. I want to try to get some of you guys down here and all of us go fish Table Rock.
That'd be cool.
I can take you to some fishing holes out there at that lake where you guys will shit when you pull up some of them fish.
See, I'm all for that. Just gotta let me know. I can take vacation.
Your little boat would be perfect to take out there.
Oh, heck yeah.
Now.
Yeah, I had a buddy that lives in Pennsylvania give that to me. So I went all the way to Pennsylvania, picked it up. Didn't know jack squat about the trailer, none of that. Come home running 90 mile an hour, and it just smooth as can be. Couldn't even tell it was back here.
The only time I knew whenever I had that boat behind me, whenever I was pulling it from, because I had to go down to Mountain View, Arkansas to Excel's, where they build the boats at in Mountain View for Excel. And the only time that I really knew I had that boat behind me was when I was going down those mountain grades at 20% and damn near lost my brakes.
Woo!
They were hot. You could smell them. They were cooking hot.
I done that going over the mountains of West Virginia in a box truck, moving my cousin down there, hauling his Ranger on a trailer. We had to stop halfway down, and we peed on the rotors and everything, trying to cool them down. They were glowing red. We were in
I've been there before. Yeah, see, Joplin starts kind of the plateau area of the Ozark Mountains, and then as soon as you start heading more south and more east of Joplin, you start getting into the Ozark Mountains. And they're kind of just like the Appalachians. They may not be as tall, but they're just as old. And if I remember right, the Appalachian and the Smokies and the Ozark Mountains were all one mountain chain at one point in time.
There we go. All right. Sure, I shut Zillow off before Peeling comes on here again. Oh my goodness.
Hey, at least you can grow facial hair. Mine comes out in patches.
I wish I could not grow right here. I hate shaving.
Oh man, me too. I hate shaving, but my wife says, honey, you need to shave.
See all in here. KMB, Scotty Hill.
Changing my skin. My forehead wrinkles are
Okay, so right now we got 4 in from what I can see.
Yeah, these forehead wrinkles are not fun. Revitalift hyaluronic acid serum from L'Oreal Paris.
Scotty, I haven't caught really much of anything. My son, when we went camping last weekend, he caught a good, decent carp, and it was probably, I would say, anywhere between 8 to 10 pounds.
There's Betty and Cat. Man. No, I'm not waxing. I couldn't do that, Betty.
Kentucky Cat Man, that's Jim.
Yep. He's the bad influence. They got me yelled at.
So here is my idea for shirts I'm going to try to start doing. I'm going to have to end up making my logo bigger so I can do one like Palmetto's, like the shirt you're wearing now.
Don't let Jim talk you into shit. I gotta go to work.
I love you. Bye.
I love you. Bye.
I'll keep him out of trouble for you.
She gave a thumbs up.
Anyways, so there's all these memes that float around out there on the internet that are like very innuendo-like and very fine lined. That's about fishing. So I was thinking about start finding a bunch of those memes and going ahead and doing that. Put them on shirts. Is he really?
From the riverbank fishing.
Cool. Thanks, Betty.
Well, apparently Norman's live also.
Dang, how many people's live?
I have no idea.
We got
Maurice is in here.
Michael Nelson. Oh my goodness. I gotta figure out a little bit better way for this. I don't know, I get nervous when I'm live. I ain't used to it. Like, wait, Jim and everybody's all nonchalant about being live.
I'm not really worried about it anymore. I just kind of look at it this way, you know. It's my channel. I run my channel how I want to, and if others don't like it, then oh well. I'll eventually make that 1K marker.
I just broke 500 finally.
You're kicking my ass.
I've been stuck at 500, 460 for over a year.
I've been stuck on the 300 mark. Now, I will tell you, 812, Joe with 812, He was at like 300 to 400 at like, I don't know, March or April, and then all of a sudden he just blew up real fast.
That's cause he's making sure he hammers out. He's catching big fish though, hammering
yes,
out
he
hitters
does.
every week.
K and B, Kevin is 10 away from 1K. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm a star. Heck no, I want to get monetized. That way, I at least make a little bit of money back on my fishing. That way, I can pay for gas at least.
Where I'm at now, I've had good signal all day. I can see a cell phone tower from here.
Yeah, so I was thinking for like a shirt, it'll have a rod bent over, and like a picture of a person fishing with a rod bent over, and I want it to say, "I like it when she tugs on my rod."
Yeah, that go good. I need to find somebody that can draw, because the logo I want is a catfish with a ball gag, a spiked necklace, and then a line coming up off it to a silhouette of somebody holding a bent pole behind it.
That's right on that line too.
Yeah. And I've been throwing around a bunch of different names for my little boat. Catman wants to call it the Beaver. So he said you put your rod in the beaver and take it to the water and get your beaver wet.
That actually would be a good one.
Then Swamp Donkey.
Hey, Justin, Scotty Hill says that he can draw.
Well, Scotty.
Little 4-pound blue.
Sweet.
He ain't too far from you.
A swampy beaver. That's another name for it. Betty just said swampy beaver. Swamp donkey, lake donkey. My daughter wants to call it the musk mouse.
The musk mouse.
I come up with another name I'm leaning towards real hard. The midget hooker.
Gotta have a picture of like a mini pole dancer on it.
I'll have to cut out a stencil and stencil me a mini pole dancer set on there.
Mini hooker, that's good. Midget hooker.
I don't know. I ain't got a name set in stone yet. Figure I want to get it on the water first couple times and see if it's actually going to float. I ain't even had it in the water yet.
Palmetto just hopped in.
I'm hoping I can talk my wife into going out on the midget hooker with me. Well,
I kind of think that swampy beaver's kind of funny too.
Well, here comes me.
Here comes the devil.
That picture that she is holding up on Joe's page with that catfish is good sized.
We were out with Roger DeMint on the muskrat, and that was her first river flathead.
We crashed into a stick.
Yeah, that's when he threw us down. And then we done circles in the middle of the river because it was so foggy. Almost got run over by a barge. It was an eventful night. First
What
time I was
river?
Ohio River.
Yeah, that's a big river there.
First time I was ever out on at night on the Ohio River on a boat, and it was so foggy you couldn't see 2 feet in front of you.
Look who's trying
Up
to
in north of our state, we have the Missouri River, which is a big barge river, and then on the east of it, we have the Mississippi River, which is another barge river. And
Canby said, "Hey, Gabby, love
they're
you."
both got really good fishing in them.
Hello. I'm dealing with our puppy dogs right now. No. 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 Go on. You gotta go back in the kitchen. Go on.
You're crashing or sinking with Roger. I've been out with him a few times. Well, another time I went out with Roger, his starter went out on the motor.
Oh, that's the pits there.
So I had to climb back there and pull start his motor all day long. It was like when we went out on the water, it was like 20 degrees.
That's cold.
Yeah, it was cold. I think it warmed up to a whole 33 or 34 that day.
So how many on Norms? Holy jeez. But he's also got like 1,500 subscribers too. Norm's got 28 people on his feed right now. He's fishing from the bank.
There's Buckeye. When you drift all day, well, we had to make it up river before we drift down.
Yeah, so we went camping last weekend and had a little float trip on Sunday. And we floated the James River in Springfield, which is a nice, nice, lazy, good float. The water was up, which made it a lot better. Sure beats having to pick up and drag the canoe through the bottom of the river. And then on the 10th through the 15th of next month, we have our adult-only float trip, camp trip, that we're going to be doing.
That'd be fun. We don't really have any place like that to do anything. Any place we got where we can actually get in a float tube or a canoe or something like that, you could spit across.
We got a lot of little rivers around here that do that, where you can do that with.
But yeah, I'm trying to think. I can't remember what the name is. Might be the Little Miami. It might be 20 feet across, and rarely get more than 5 or 10 foot down through there. We got a canoe place where we can go. You can put in 10, 15 miles up and go back down to them. We might do that one day. Although I don't know how well my wife will be in a canoe. She'll probably end up flipping us 2 or 3 times.
Now that would be funny.
You
should
do
just-
that.
First time my wife and I went on a float trip together, I sunk our canoe right on her ankle. I thought she was going to kill me.
What'd you say?
The first time you and I went floating. We got stuck in a current, and I'm not kidding. When I say we were in less than 1.5 feet of water, okay? That's how deep it was, maybe.
It was like 3 feet.
No, not where the canoe was. We were like in 1.5 feet of water, and the current was so stinking strong that whenever I moved and the canoe tipped over, I didn't realize that Felicia's foot was caught underneath the canoe, and with the current, it was just sitting there shoving it down. It took 6 people to pull it up off of her, like off of her ankle and her leg.
Wow.
Yeah.
He about broke my leg the first time we ever went canoeing together.
You wouldn't think 1.5 feet of water would be that dangerous.
Well, the current ripping through there was probably, I would say, at least a good 5 or 6 miles an hour.
Oh, good night. Oh, gotta behave.
PG-13. I should start putting them on there. Enter at your own risk.
Shoot. Better be more like PG 9 or 10 anymore. Some of the things I see these kids looking at nowadays.
You know what's strange is everything that we grew up to that was rated R is now rated PG-13.
Yeah. Why are you saying?
Palmetto, you missed Gabby. She hopped on there for a minute.
She's like a wet fart in a hot skillet. She can't sit still very long.
Unless I'm watching a movie that I really like.
She said unless she's watching a movie that she really likes. Or her goofy YouTube stuff she watches.
Oh. I figured I'd do a live stream, and because I hadn't done one in a while, and all the other ones or most of my videos, I'm always wearing a hat, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not wearing my hat tonight. Forget it.
Shoot, for the most,
Where'd you say
unless I'm out in the
here?
sun cooking, I've always got a hat on.
Oh, I wear a hat most of the time, anyways.
So I was gonna go fishing tonight, but we got thunderstorms rolling through.
Best time to go fishing.
Not when it's lightning like crazy.
That I agree with. I went fishing one time, and we had a pop-up hailstorm come out of nowhere. Everybody was hiding underneath the trees, and I'm standing out there just taking it like a champ.
Pop-up hailstorm around here means tornado.
Well, around here too, but
Shoot, we had one roll through last week.
did it do any damage?
Yeah, shut down, ripped a bunch of trees down. I can't read that, Gabby.
Where's everything I took cleared off? I think
There
I
wasn't
had
nothing
cleared
on it.
off.
Kevin on with K&B wants you to play something on the guitar.
Play something on the guitar. Oh my goodness. Don't put me on the spot. Oh,
There you go.
play something on the get fiddle. Move.
That's a good song.
There you go.
Hey, Lyle. Lyle just popped in, commented, picking and grinning.
Picking and grinning.
Hello.
Yeah, I finally picked the guitar back up after about 10 years of not playing. It's amazing all the stuff I forgot.
I'm not coordinated enough to play a guitar.
I've had my.
I started playing when I was 6 years old.
That's younger than me. I am.
I played real hot and heavy clear up till, I'd say, my late 20s.
When can you get me a guitar?
And then I picked off and on for a little while. I ain't played much for, I know I ain't picked a guitar up for over 10 years, other than the plunk on it for about 2 or 3 minutes and put it down every
Right.
once in a blue moon. And for Father's Day, my wife bought me a electric guitar and an amp. Her and one of my best friends conspired, and I come home and it was on the table. So I been playing pretty much every night for the last couple weeks.
That's actually pretty good.
Hey, Dad, weren't you looking at stuff, but your best friend told you, nah, don't get them. They're
Shoot.
bad.
I figure one of these days I'll get back to where I can actually play good. But it's mostly dexterity in my fingers that I don't have that no more.
Dad, we both are good.
I can't make my fingers move right to be able to hit the frets on the guitar to hold each different string down to play a chord. They just don't want to cooperate.
It takes a while to get used to that.
Forms like Kansas
My hard thing right now is getting the tips of my fingers where
fish with him.
I don't feel like the strings are cutting them in half. Shoot, KMV sound like Mexico playing. Should have kept going then, because playing the Mexican style guitar is hard.
Well, I used to live down there at Table Rock in Eagle Rock, Missouri. When we'd have travelers come through, I'd always tell them that if you hear the banjo, don't run away, go follow the sound. And then some people will come in there and they're like, man, this place reminds me of Deliverance. I said, yeah, you're in Deliverance. You get down there by the lake, that's all it is. It's nothing but woods and mountains and some pastures. And
I want to learn to pick the banjo. Plans for the new boat. I am wiring up LED lights on it. I got an idea for filming lights and driving light combo. Gabby, put the guitar down.
Aw.
I just need to get my little motor, see if I can get it running. The
I
harmonica.
watched a couple of videos on YouTube where people were using lawnmower motors and putting them on lower ends of like 6 to 10 horse motors and still having like a little decent boat motor and still pushing it through the rivers and lakes.
Yeah, they got a mud motor kit you can get. You put a lawnmower engine on top of it. I thought about putting one of those on that, but
you can get in some pretty shallow water with a mud motor, but you got to make sure that your pole, whenever you get in real shallow water, that you got to bring it up real high, because if not, you're going to be hitting bottom, tear your prop off.
well, the ones I was looking at, the way it's like a 8 or 10 foot long shaft, and the prop is actually angled up like this. I mean, you can be hauling and hit a log and it just bounces off the bottom. It don't even touch the prop.
Yeah, my buddy had one on his, but it was a straight shaft. It wasn't curved.
Yeah, it's like $500 for the kit.
Or something like that.
All you do is get a lawnmower engine and put on it.
Yeah, they get you moving on those little creeks and stuff. We have a little creek up the road from us called Center Creek. And my buddy Jeff, him and I went out there on his little 10-foot John boat with the mud motor, and we ran up the creek with it and then found some spots to go try to catfish. Yeah, we got skunked, but it was fun riding in the boat with that mud motor on there. And I was actually surprised. It was moving us right through that river that little creek with no problem.
Yeah, but up northern Ohio, In springtime, Maumee River's got the walleye running. I see a lot of guys running them style mud motors up there because of the rocks and everything.
That's why I've been looking at those jet johns, because you can get them in like 6 inches of water or less.
That'd be cool. I don't even know how deep my little boat's gonna set. I don't know. I'll figure that out here for too long. I just got it, rest of it painted today, letting that dry. So I might drag it out to the lake Sunday and just see if it floats. Who knows? It might be a camo anchor.
I was getting ready to say, you can put some clear caulking around the ridges of it.
I don't know. I'll get it on the water and find out.
Chances are it probably floats.
That'd be my guess,
In
because
good shape.
if it rains, it holds water. So I know it'll hold at least 3 inches of water.
If it's holding water, that means it's not leaking.
Yeah, it's shoulder to shoulder up there at the Maumee, buddy. But I love going up there. Fishing the walleye run up there is a blast. I ain't made it up there for the last 2 years because I'm always working. You go up to the Maumee walleye fishing, you're literally 1.5 2 foot from the guy on either side of you.
Oh my goodness.
Elbow to elbow people up there.
That's crazy.
You're out in 42-degree water, about belly button deep, with about 5-6 mile an hour current.
Shoo.
Stand there all day long. By the time you get out of the water, whichever direction the water's pushing, your opposite hip feels like it's going to explode.
I was going to say 42-degree water with 5 mile an hour current. That's cold.
Yep.
That's pretty bad there.
Everybody up there's got the duck hunting style waders. Mine's 1,600 gram Thensolate. Then I wear thigh-high wool socks underneath of it with long johns, sweatpants. It ain't too bad.
One of the biggest trout rivers in this area is Roaring River, in their state park called Roaring River State Park, which is a little southeast of here of Joplin. And when I say the water's cold, I'm not joking. You could be out there on a 100-degree day. That water is no warmer than 50 degrees.
Coming down off the mountain.
It's just all spring fed.
See, that'd be awesome. I'd love
Yeah,
it.
It's awesome for a good 15, 20 minutes until you don't have any feeling in your legs or your feet anymore. It gets cold.
See, I'd love to live someplace that had trout. The only chance you get to chase trout around here is in the spring when they stock them in the lakes for the kids to catch.
Trout season starts in Missouri. I want to say end of March, beginning of April, right before spring hits. Roaring River State Park has their trout hatchery, and all they raise is rainbow trout.
I love eating. Where was it we went? I don't remember. I think it's Rocky Forks where we usually go. They usually net off there's a big area with docks. They run a net across the end of it and turn trout loose in there for kids derby. And after that day, anybody can come in and fish it. We usually go in there and tear up trout on corn on a bobber or a rooster tail. We eat good for about a week or two, and then got to wait till next year for more trout.
Oh yeah.
Socks. I want to eat trout more often.
Well, we got to live in a state that has trout.
I know. We need to make our own pond and just stock it with trout.
Well, trout like cold water. Pond water would get too warm and kill them.
Yeah.
That's why they don't survive in our lakes around here.
It really sucks. I'm just happy I can play piano. Real
Hey,
life.
honey, will you pour me some more tea, please?
That's one thing I know how to play. Piano.
No, don't need a trout stamp, nothing like that. I know. Where's it? North Carolina, you had to get a trout stamp, and then certain times of year you weren't allowed to use barbed hooks. And buddy of mine used to live down there. $4 a day to fish a river? Dang.
It's a state park. Yeah, it's $4 a day to fish Roaring River State Park, but you don't have to have a trout stamp. That $4 pays for your trout stamp. Basically, that's what it's doing. You do have to have the regular Missouri fishing license. A 3-day out-of-state one's $27, and then if you're a Missouri resident, the year is only $12.
Well, that ain't bad.
No.
I think it's. Our prices used to be $19 a year for fishing license. I think it went up to $24 this year.
See, we got a lot of rivers around this area that all run together and runs out to the lakes. I have close to me, the one I like to fish out of the most is Spring River. And Spring River goes all the way to Grand Lake in Oklahoma. And there's another little river called there's the Neosho River, which is just west of Spring River. And then there's another river, I want to say it's Rock River, that's just west of the Neosho River, which are all down in Oklahoma. And you want to, I'm not joking when I say blue cats and flatheads, that's what Grand Lake is full of.
So that'd be cool.
And then Table Rock is full of channel cats and flatheads. And then Table Rock Lake is actually gotten known for by all the bass fishing because that's where Bass Pro Shops started way back when. Bass Pro Shops' main headquarters is in Springfield, which is an hour away from Joplin.
Oh, I like to go see it. Shoot, I ain't got any rivers near me. It's all creeks.
That's what we have pretty much around us. The Spring River isn't really all that big. I'm in some parts of it you can't cast to the other side, and other parts of it you can literally cast and hit the bank.
Most of them all around here you can spit across. One of my favorite bait creeks, literally maybe 10, 11 foot across. But I've caught about every kind of fish in there. The only thing I ain't caught in there is channel cat. I've caught big carp, largemouth, smallmouth, creek chubs, bluegills of all sorts.
I was getting ready to say at on my channel I have that video for Abel's Sugar Island, which is a campground in Pineville, Missouri, and the owner there is really awesome. He's a super awesome person, but he has a Big Sugar Creek that runs right through his property where the campground is. And that water is crystal clear. And it's funny because you can be sitting in a canoe floating down Big Sugar not knowing you're in 15 foot of water.
Wow.
It's that clear.
I don't think I've ever seen water that clear, especially in Ohio. About every body of water around here, unless it's a stone quarry, looks like chocolate milk.
Yeah, Spring River, Shoal Creek, Center Creek, the Neosho River, and Rock River are all really murky looking, kind of somewhat muddy rivers. And then the little bit farther south you get, they start to become more clear water because of all the because of the mountains itself. They're flowing through the mountains and getting all the purification stuff.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have something like that around here. While I'm in the flatlands of Ohio and everything's a cornfield or a muddy creek. I'm surrounded by man-made lakes. Half of them, they drop down to winter pools, what they call it, which is basically just dropping it down to the channel that runs through it.
Right.
So in the spring, when it rains, it floods them. Even with them being down that low, that we get enough rain in the spring that it'll be 20 to 25 foot above summer pool.
We ended up getting a lot of rain this spring, and which kind of really hurt me for fishing some. I tried to get out as much as I could, and right once like mid-spring, early mid-spring is when all the catfish start spawning around here, and that's really one of the best times to go catfishing. But we had all that rain and it flooded out. The same thing happened to us last year, and it literally just rained and rained and rained almost for a solid month. And then now all of a sudden, here comes, coming into June, and we're having 100-degree days. And it's like, it's not that I'm afraid to get out to go fishing on a 100-degree day. It's just, it's not nice to sit out in the sun when it's that hot anyways.
The James River. Is that? That's not the James River in Virginia.
No.
See, when I hear the James River, I'm thinking the one in Virginia.
James River in Springfield, Missouri.
$40 miles? That's a small river. I can't remember. I think the Ohio is like close to 400 miles.
Something like that.
Okay, Gabby. But that's one thing I'm hoping to do this summer is learn more about the Ohio River. I've only been on it a couple times with a boat. I've always, I don't know, been scared of it. I've heard so many horror stories and stuff about it. And now I've been on a few times with Roger DeMint on the Muskrat. It actually ain't too bad as long as you got a boat made for the river. And my bass boat, unless it's summer pool and real slow, I don't think I'd take it out there when there's 4 or 5 mile an hour current.
Yeah, probably I wouldn't do it.
I don't know, Gabby. KB, you're right. South Carolina, when they call it a creek, it's like a big cove. We were down at Patrick James's first YouTubers tournament, and they were all telling us to go to Allison Creek. We're looking for a creek. We're in this great big, I mean, it's almost as wide as the lakes here in Ohio. We're in this area and we're looking for a creek. And somebody hollers at us, said, well, you're in it. Like, this ain't no creek, this is a cove. It's surrounded by houses. I mean, it's huge. The boys down there in South Carolina get all different kinds of way they talk about stuff. It's like when they say I'm going to go fish in the river, they're talking about the channel in the middle of Lake Wiley. that's a river to them. It's the channel. So when they said we're going fishing a river, I'm thinking, okay, current. No, it ain't the river. It's just the channel.
Yeah, we have actual a mix of a lot all throughout here. Catfish Weekly, which is Lyle, he lives up towards Lake of the Ozarks. In fact, Lake of the Ozarks is pretty much his backyard. And there's really good fishing up there. Lyle is roughly 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours tops from me. And then if you go an hour northeast from where I'm at, an hour and a half northeast, you can go to Stockton, Missouri and catch Stockton Lake, which is a little smaller lake, which that's a good little lake to fish. And then going south, southeast, you have Table Rock Lake, which is really good sized. And then in Oklahoma, once you cross over the state line, within an hour drive, you have Grand Lake, and that's a really good fishing lake too. And there's all little bunch of rivers and streams and creeks that intertwine all of it together.
That's how most of ours are. They're all connected with creeks. We've got a lot of good lakes around us. Just so many pleasure boaters on the weekend. It's hard to do any fishing on the weekend.
Same here. If you want to do any fishing, you got to break out throughout the week and go run when there's not very many people out there playing on the water.
Yeah, it's the only thing I hate about working through the week again is having to deal with all the pleasure boaters on the weekend. Shoot, I ain't even, especially with this COVID and everybody flooding the lakes and going crazy, 5 billion people there. I ain't even took my bass boat out not once this year yet.
I've been waiting. I'm still trying to get one.
I got a heck of a deal on mine. My best friend's son bought it. We fished crappie tournaments on it for a couple years, and where he works at, real busy, didn't have time to do it no more. And he's like, sold me the boat for $750. So I got an $8,000 boat for $750.
You stole that.
Yep. I was like, well, why are you selling it to me? He goes, well, that's how much I just put in that depth finder on there. And he goes, and I know I can come over to the house and take it whenever I want it. So give me $750. I was like, heck, works for me.
That's not bad at all.
I think Gabby's about at the age now where I think next year me and her is going to start hitting the crappie tournaments.
Yes.
I heard that. She says yes.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
There's a few of the lakes we go to, they've got hybrids in it, and blues, and flatheads. And when you spider rig them with 12 and 14 foot crappie rods, when you land any three of them on 4-pound test line, it is a blast reeling them in.
I don't know if you ever seen. Did you ever get to see that picture of that big old carp that I had caught? Did I ever send you that?
No.
I was using an ultralight rod and reel, and I wasn't even trying to catch a carp. I just had it sitting out there in the water because there was gar swimming in the shallow water where I was fishing for catfish. And this 20-pound carp hits this rod and reel, and I'm not kidding. If it wasn't for the 30-pound line that I had on this ultralight setup, it would have been gone in a long time. But no, it hit that. And not only did the reel break, but it broke the rod tip too.
Oh, wow. See, I got
it was a heck of a fight.
I got a spot we go to, and it's down below a spillway at one of our lakes, and where it comes down, it's like a bowl or surrounded, so the fish can't just run free, and it's clear full of carp. We'll take ultralight rods with 4-pound test line and go cast out. Just put corn on a hook, cast it out there, and catch 15, 20-pound carp all night long on ultralight rods. And they're just running. You just fight them till you get. You'll catch so many that you'll get to the point where you'll lay the rod down and just let your arms rest. That's also same spot. 2 days before Christmas, I caught a 23-pound flathead on a jig and twister tail. I was fishing for a saw guy and caught that big flathead. I'd have never believed that I'd have caught a flathead 2 days before Christmas. But he was hooked in the mouth. He went for it and nailed it. And I thought I was snagged at first because it was, like I said, just 4-pound test line on an ultralight rod. And when I hit it, folded the rod, and I was like, yep, I'm snagged. And I pulled, and it moved a little bit. I was like, well, whatever it is, I'm dragging it in. And the second time I pulled, he started pulling back. And I finally got him in after about 20 minutes. But
Flatheads are kind of fun to reel in because you don't know exactly if you're going to get a hard fight off to get go or if it's feeling like it'll drag in a freaking log.
Most of the time in the lakes, if you hook into a flathead around here, it's not much of a fight until you're 15 foot from the bank. That's when the fight comes on. When you get him that close, he sees the bank. That's when you back off of your drag because that's when the fight starts.
A lot of our flatheads through here that are on the that swim through the little creeks and stuff, whenever they stay around here, they do kind of like the same with what the channel cats do, is they'll get out there in the channel to feed, but they'll hide up underneath these huge old trees and stay up in the roots or find holes in the mud like of the banks. And I was fishing one time with a limb line, and whenever I went to go pull it up, I wish I had a picture of this thing. I ended up pulling up a 35-pound channel cat on a limb line.
Good night.
Yeah, and I'm in a little creek that everywhere else around this, except for this one area, everywhere around else, the depth was maybe waist deep. So it wasn't but maybe 2.5, 3 feet deep. And then this one specific hole where this tree was, you couldn't even touch bottom. It was probably a good 20, 30 foot deep. That's where that big old channel cat was hiding. Well, we pulled him up, and then 3 nights later, we go back out there and bait up again with the limb line and dropped it down in that same hole, and we pulled up a 15-pound flathead. I'm like, wow.
That's a monster channel.
Yeah, it was. At that time, I didn't think about putting him back back in the creek to let him go. At that time, he fed 15 people.
Good night.
Yeah, he was big.
Yeah, 'cause my biggest channel's a official one I've weighed is 21 pounds.
That beats mine.
But there's one other time we was out on the boat in November on Rocky Fork, and I had a rod take off, set the hook. Not 10 seconds later, my other rod took off, so I picked it up and yanked anyway and handed it to my buddy. I said, he's tangled up in it. After about a minute or so, he goes, nope. He was fighting one way, and I was fighting one the other way. And we didn't have a scale, but they were both over 25 pounds.
That's a good sized fish. My son and I think it was either last summer or the summer before. I think it was the summer before last. We were down at Pineville fishing Big Sugar, and he wanted to go catfishing with me because he normally likes to fish for bait fish and stuff like that. And I told him, I was like, it's going to be a different kind of style. I said, all you got to do is make sure you got your bait and throw it down into the structure and let it set. Okay, that's what he did. And literally within, I don't even think there was 2 minutes from the time that the bait hit the water, there may have been enough time for it to sink to the bottom. This 5-pound channel cat hits his rod and hits that bait like it was no tomorrow. And because that water's so clear, you can see what's going on. He's seen the fish hit it, but he didn't see anything else because he's too busy reeling it in. And I'm sitting there watching it, and all that channel cat was doing was just sitting there rolling the entire time as he's sitting there bringing it in. He's like, man, that thing's putting up a hell of a fight. He got hooked after that.
I got hooked on catfish when I was probably 21, 22 years old. All I used to do is carp fish. And I'd catch all kinds of carp. And I was carp fishing all night long, and I wanted to catch some bluegill, so I took my little rod with night crawler on it and flipped it out in between boat docks. And I pulled in about 11, 12-pound channel cat, which is a heck of a fight on that little rod. After that, I was hooked. I switched over to catfishing. That's been my main one I go after now. Catfish and crappie and saugeye.
My grandpa used to catfish all the time. I wish he was still around. And I remember whenever I was a young kid, Shoal Creek used to have a hydroelectric power dam, which was, a little dam. And you would be able to, a long time ago, you could be able to walk across it and fish off the banks. Well, now you can't because they got it all locked up on the property around on both sides. Well, I remember when I was a kid, my grandpa would sit there and fish right up against that dam wall before the fall started coming through. He pulled up a 65-pound flathead sitting in the bottom of Shoal Creek right up against that dam wall. That thing was a monster. And he caught it on chicken liver.
Chicken liver?
Chicken liver.
I've yet to catch a flathead on cut bait or anything like chicken liver or anything like that. All my flathead have come off of live bait. Around here in the lakes, if it ain't live bait, you ain't catching a flathead for the most part.
That's the way it is around here for the most part too. But he swore up and down all the time he would use chicken liver. And whenever he went to catch that flathead, I mean, it could have been just a fluke that it was hungry and it was just going to eat whatever. But he pulled it up. It was a good one.
You use anything but live bait around here, you got channels to deal with.
No, it's the same way it is here too. You can throw pretty much anything in the water and a channel cat will come at you. As long as they're running.
Yeah, my biggest flathead I caught bass fishing. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon on middle of June. I was bumping a black and red pig jig along a log bass fishing. It hit it, folded the pole. I had a 10-pound test line on. I told the old lady and my oldest son, I said, hang on, and I chased it for over an hour with the trolling motor. I finally got it up next to the boat and seen it. I was like, good night. All I had was a normal sized net, and the only thing that fit in the net was his head.
That's a monster.
Put his head in, wrapped my arm underneath his belly, and I just rolled back into the boat. And my arms were shot from holding that rod for over an hour straight. I couldn't even pick it up off the floor of my boat. And the old lady and my son jumped up on the back of the boat because it scared them. So I run my boat aground over at the campgrounds. I hollered at this guy. I was like, hey, could you help me get this fish out of my boat? And he looked at me like I was a retard. He comes walking over there, and he seen it, shoes and all. He comes stomping in the water and helped me get it out. And it wasn't 5-10 minutes. Everybody in the campground was down there taking pictures of it. And the ranger come down, and I asked if there was anybody had a scale big enough to weigh it. He didn't know if anybody had a scale or a certified scale. I'd have had the state record on 10-pound test line. The only thing I had to come close to weighing was my son. My son weighed about 74 pounds at that time. So I picked my son up and picked the fish up, and they weighed close to the same. So I called it a 70-pounder. That's the one picture I had on my YouTube channel. Takes up my whole chest and dang near touches the ground.
Oh yeah, they get huge. They get huge.
Isn't it that big picture where you're going like this on the fish?
Mm-hmm. That one.
He
Yeah,
got
Rocky Fork's been my favorite
belly.
lake for years. I've got a lot of my PBs on that lake alone.
He had a big
I
belly.
caught my largest bass catfishing, which is ironic and funny. I had a creek chub out on underneath a cork and caught 8-pound largemouth, which 8-pound largemouth in Ohio, that's a big largemouth. I got him on my wall right now.
8-pound largemouth is not a small bass whatsoever.
No, it dropped that cork and started screaming the clicker. And I set the hook on it, and I was like, it's a nice little channel. And then when it jumped out of the water and seen it as a bass, I yelled at my buddy. I was like, get the net, get the net. I don't want to lose this one.
Was I alive then?
Yeah, my largest channel come out of Rocky, my largest bass, largest flathead, and my largest saw guy. Yeah, the saw guy was 27 inches, which that's a big saw guy. Most of the time, because they stock them every year, and you see people at the dams and stuff keeping little cigar-sized ones. I'm like, what's the sense in it? There ain't even enough meat on it to make a sandwich.
Does a saw guy kind of look like a walleye a little bit?
Yeah, it's a cross between a sauger and a walleye.
Okay.
And since it's a crossbreed, they can't reproduce. They're relied on stocking every year, but they can handle the warmer temperatures. Like walleye relatively needs colder water. A saw guy likes moving water, and a sauger likes moving water, and the saw guy, they do good in lakes and stuff.
Hey Dad, where's
They can handle the warmer water and still water.
Where's saw guy here?
I don't think they have that. I don't think they have saw guy on your poster, honey. 'Cause that's Kentucky.
They have sauger and walleye.
Yeah, sauger and walleye.
One of the strangest fish I've ever seen, and I didn't know that they existed, but my son TJ had caught one, was a hybrid. It was a hybrid bass, but it was a bass and crappie cross hybrid fish.
Bass and crappie hybrid. I've never seen one of them.
I swear to God, I've never seen one either until the day he pulled it up. It wasn't very big. I want to say it probably may have been 6-7 inches. But craziest looking fish I've ever seen in my entire life. I said, man, that looks like a crappie.
PD.
But it had like the face of a bass.
What's happening, PD? How did I get so good looking? Years of just being perfect, I guess.
Well, Kevin, have a good night, buddy.
Have a good one, Kev. I know he's got to work
Night.
tomorrow. Yeah, Kevin definitely needs his beauty sleep. PD says, hey.
Hello.
If I had a boat, I think what I would be doing for a just like a summer kind of gig is I think what I would be doing probably doing some guided tours or something like that to go out and go fishing.
See, I'd like, move your head, please. Move forward. I'd like to have my own charter. I've been trying to talk the old lady into moving up to Lake Erie. I run my own charter service out on Lake Erie for walleye and perch.
That would be nice.
But now that I'm real big into catfishing, now I want to move down to Tennessee. Down the Tennessee River and run guided catfish and striper down there. I got a buddy of mine runs a guide service up on Erie, which I'm getting ready to go up there with him here for too long.
Can I come?
I don't know.
Well, I was getting ready to say, Scott Manning does Tennessee River Monsters or Wicked Outdoors Adventures,
Rum.
Yeah, I think I've seen Scott Manning.
and that's all he fishes, Tennessee River.
Tennessee Rivers.
They pull
That's
up some huge
that's-
striper out of there.
That's a good fishery down there. Trying to talk the old lady into going to vacation down there around Watts Bar, but she's told me no on several occasions because she knows why I want to go there.
You start making it towards this area, and you'll be over there by Lyle, up in Lake of the Ozarks. It's funny up there because you can be on your boat or you can be driving down one of the bridges, and because you're passing over the lake, and you'll see liquor store, convenience store, a nudie bar. Like on the other side of the river is a church. It's crazy.
Around here, it's all cornfields and bean fields.
Yeah, we've got a mix of all sorts of craziness here in Missouri.
Shoot, dude, just to go anywhere to do anything, it's a half-hour, 45-minute drive at a minimum. If I want to go fish the river, I usually got to drive an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Do you have a lot of property and acreage, or are you like in a little small city?
No, I'm in town on a quarter acre.
Yeah, our population here in Joplin's like 65,000 people.
Good night. I'm in Mayberry. If we have 1,800, that's guessing high.
Yeah, at Springfield, they have, I want to say about 180,000 people. And then Kansas City is in the millions. And St. Louis is in the millions.
I think we have our big populated town around us is like 22,000.
That's about the same. Carthage.
We're out in the middle of the boondocks.
That's quite nice, actually.
Yeah. We got some big cities around us: Cincinnati, Columbus, Springfield, Dayton, and Gabby, turn it off. Gabby, turn your phone off, please.
I get a lot of truckloads that run out towards Dayton and New Canton, or North Canton.
North Canton, New Carlisle, all that's around that area.
Yep.
But I worked in the big cities for most of my life. Last 5 years, I've been working at the airport, 10 minutes from home, and I'm loving that.
It's a good job to have.
I've got an hour and a half run.
I drive a school bus throughout the school year, and on my in between, if I don't have a field trip or something to go on, I also run a freight brokerage agency with Landstar and try to move truck freight in between that. And since COVID hit us this year, it put me out from working from the school bus driving, but we ended up getting paid through the rest of the school year for that, thank God. So I decided, well, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can't try to move some truckloads. Well, that lasted for like 2 weeks, and then everything became on a quick, solid halt because everything shut down.
Shoot. Around here, I got a
Kansas
couple.
City's still on lockdown.
Really?
Yeah, it's bad up there.
I've worked through the whole thing. We're the largest privately owned airport in the world. Used to be an Air Force base back in the 40s and 50s.
Have you heard of a company called Jack Henry and Associates?
No.
They design all the software for the co-pilot and autopilot systems.
Oh.
They're based in a small town of Monette, right here in Missouri.
Yeah, see, where we were at, a place called Airborne used to have it, and they run a FedEx style company out of it for years. Then DHL bought them out, and 5 years after DHL bought them out, they shut it down and put like 12,000 people out of work. And it's been shut down for 12 years. And Amazon just came in there and opened up a big facility. So now it's starting to get back busy again. But we're also the alternative for all of the military bases, because we're the only privately owned airport that can land the Antonov, which is the largest aircraft in the world.
Yeah, it's bigger than a C-130.
Oh yeah, a lot bigger. But we've had the Antonov and all them guys in there, C-130s and all them. They do touch and goes on our runway all the time. And it's like when 9/11 happened and they grounded everybody. Everybody flew to us. Well, heck, right now Delta's got like 40 some planes out there just parked and sitting.
That's crazy.
Doing nothing. They're just paying to park them. But they've kept
It's a hell of a storage fee check, though.
Oh yeah. Well, hell, just the landing fee is like 20. I think it's like $2,400 just for a landing fee. I was like, that's crazy. So every flight Amazon lands, they pay us $2,400.
Damn.
I didn't realize stuff like that till I've been out there 4.5 years now, and I'm still learning stuff left and right out there, how airport operates. But I work on a lot of the airfield lighting stuff. 12,000 volts, 480. Work on the
Gotta break it down.
approach systems. But it's not like one specific thing you do. We're a jack of all trades out there. One day I could be out working on the airfield lighting. Next day I'll be in fixing the fire suppression, the dry risers in Amazon. I'm the head guy on that. That's dealing with Amazon's a pain, period.
They used to have a facility, DC facility in Coffeyville, Kansas, which is roughly an hour away from Joplin. And they closed that down, I want to say 4 years ago, 4 years ago.
Shoot, they just keep expanding where we're at, but they've got international airport, and we've got the Par 139 certificate, which is top of the line. We can land anything and everything, and they've got the run of the place. They just keep expanding more and more. I'm just waiting for them to buy the whole place out.
Give them enough time, they'll probably do it.
They've been trying. But they've brought in a lot of jobs back into the area, which is good. Now, if they just let me work 2 days a week and fish the other 5, I'd be happy.
Work the weekends and have the week off.
That would be good.
I used to wait tables at a pub and steakhouse, and that's all I worked was weekends. I'd go in Friday night and work Friday night, go back in Saturday morning and do breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Go back in Sunday morning, do breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then go bartend Monday night. And within those basically 3 full days of work, I'd make anywhere between $800 to $1,000 in cash on the weekends.
Shoot. That's good.
I'd have the rest of the week off.
That's good, but that's rough, especially dealing with the public.
I'm a smart ass. It makes it fun.
Oh, I can't remember the name of it. We had a restaurant around here that was basically, when you went in, they just started cracking on you and insulting you the whole damn time.
Is it called Dick's? Because there's a restaurant chain called Dick's.
Yeah,
that's what they did.
That was it. We had one of them down in Newport, Kentucky. I love going there. I have a blast. And my buddy's son, the one I bought the boat off of, we were all in there, and he was just giving it back to him. They offered him a job. I was like, good.
Heck, I thought about going to wait tables, but right now with all this going on, we're just now in our area, really, we're just now getting into the whole first phase and first wave of the COVID virus.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
We're back, well, just as of, I think, yesterday, the buffets opened. Bowling alleys reopened. We went into the buffet there tonight, the China One buffet, and when they seat you, they hand you one plastic glove for you to put on your hand to spoon your food out. Which
Is that per person or is that per table?
Per person.
That's good.
Which kind of aggravate me because I think the whole COVID stuff's a bunch of BS. People acting like it's never been around before. This stuff's been around for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
and they act like this over it, but yet more people die every year over the flu, and we have a vaccine for it, and they don't
Right.
act like that with the flu. But my wife was happy because she's been jonesing to go back there, so it kind of aggravated me when they hand me that glove. My wife's like, I'm just glad they're not telling us to wear a mask. I said, well, if they told us to wear a mask, I'd turn around and left. And I wouldn't have come back in here. 'Cause
I'm
she's
the same way.
As soon as she goes to work, she's got to put a mask on and have it on for 12 hours straight.
She a nurse?
Yeah. She got to go in and work. She had got called in to go work in the ICU tonight.
Oh God.
Shoot. Yeah, I finally got to eat. I was happy though. I got to eat some General Tso's chicken. I hadn't had any General Tso's chicken since the whole Corona stuff started.
Do you guys have any cashew chicken over there in your Chinese restaurants?
No.
Okay, now this is going to sound funny. Some Chinese restaurants have it, some Chinese restaurants don't. Cashew chicken actually originated in Springfield, Missouri, out of a Chinese restaurant.
Really?
Yeah.
That's wild.
It's actually really good.
Yeah, these Chinese restaurant stuff, they're all right. See, my wife's half Japanese. Her grandma was a full Japanese, so I got to eat real Japanese cooking. And I still can't go to them and eat their sushi because their sushi sucks.
I just don't eat sushi, period.
I eat good sushi, but ones in the restaurants and stuff around here, that's not good sushi.
No.
Her grandma would go to the Japanese market and come home and make it, and I eat that stuff till it blow up. But if I taste any of it around at these restaurants, I'm spitting it out. I don't know what that.
Yep, I won't eat sushi at any of the restaurants here in town at all.
If I won't even try it. Gabby was trying some of it. She kept spitting it all out tonight. She's a trooper, though. She tried some stuff that I wouldn't even try because of the way it looked. Too scary.
What cracks me up is whenever you go into a restaurant and they got the mini octopus.
Oh, yeah.
I tried one of those one time and I about gagged. I put it in the right way, but whenever the head popped, I was like, oh my God. I wasn't ready for that.
I don't think I've had that. And I like calamari. I'll eat that stuff till I blow up.
Calamari is great.
My favorite's Joe's Crab Shack. All right, it's 10:30. I'm about ready to go to bed.
All righty.
I get up at 4:30 in the morning, so
Get some sleep.
I'm usually already crashing out and sleeping by now.
Well, I appreciate you coming on and chatting, and
Thanks
we
for
had
being-
like 5-6 people on here, so I can't complain. I enjoyed it.
I definitely did too. All right, well, I'm gonna sign out and
Wait.
I'm gonna hit the hay. Oh, you want to come on here and say bye to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Camera's froze up.
Bye, guys.
Night.
All right. Good night, Paris. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. Take care.
All right. Now I got to figure out how to shut this off.
Yeah.